hope you're doing well. Listen, I want you to think about something that we're going to be speaking on this Sunday. And so you'll hear it on Sunday, you'll see it or hear it again on Wednesday. And that has to do with the fact that there are basically only two realms that relationships, human relationships, fall into, two categories. And this is pretty much the whole world kind of embraces this philosophy. Communism is built on the belief that everything devolves to power. In other words, it's just who's in power. We hear a lot of that these days. The people in power want to maintain power. The people that have possessions want to maintain their power through possession. That type of thing. Well, it does relate to our relationships also in a very direct way. And what we know about power is that it always expresses itself in control. And as a result of control, people are subjugated, meaning that, let's say that you have a relationship with somebody and you want that, you have control over that person, then what you're going to do is that person has to submit to you. You subjugate them. Now, I'm not saying that some of this isn't a result of love. Let's say, for example, a parent. You better hope that you have some degree of control over your children. God has entrusted you with that responsibility. We're entrusted with the responsibility to raise up a child in the way that they should go in Proverbs 22:6. That's what we should do. But there is this sense also where our relationship with that child, although we love them, is not strictly based on control, because it just simply wouldn't be ultimately beneficial if it was strictly control for the child. But the other aspect is one that we've come to know, that we're maturing in, that we spend the rest of our life learning about, and that is a relationship based on love. Now, I'm not talking about man's love, because anything short of God always falls to some degree of power. In other words, I love this person and I'm going to do everything within my power to keep them near me. That's not God. God's love expresses itself in think about this, a non-judgmental and limitless care. Just as we've found with the Lord when he was on this earth. This is why we're told in 2 Corinthians 10:1 to literally reveal the very gentleness of Christ. It's a non-judgmental kindness that he had, realizing that his cross, the efficacious aspect of his cross, was going to have a profound effect on human relationships, the way that God related to mankind, that he would be the Lamb. And if you think about it, if we have a relationship based on power, our happiness is totally conditional. It's conditioned based upon the result that we get from the persons that we're trying to control. Now, we've all been there as parents, we've been there as grandparents, we've been there in our life in various relationships, perhaps work relationships, whatever, and you wanted a certain outcome and you worked hard to motivate people in a certain way, and your happiness is based on that outcome. You just can't change that. But I want you to think about the latter, a person who is motivated by the love of Christ. Their happiness basically knows no bounds. There's no limit. The only measure of their happiness is the very measure of Christ himself, it says in Ephesians 3 and verse 15 and on. It's beyond our understanding, his love. So there's a sense where we can be happy even though those people around us are not satisfying or fulfilling our demands. Their life isn't what we want it to be. They're not perhaps even treating us the way that we would want to be treated. They can't take our happiness from us. The joy, the happiness, the kindness, the love, everything that we have comes from the Holy Spirit, if it has any value at all. And everything less is just a, how can I say it? It's kind of like something that is just tin covered in a little bit of silver. It's not pure silver. We want the real deal. We want Christ. And the way that we get that is we continue to focus our attention on Him and let Him be the measure of our joy and the measure of our love and the measure of our happiness and the measure of our peace and the measure of our long-suffering and the measure of our temperance, and not merely circumstance or people. As you enter into this Christmas time, let the love of Christ, the peace of Christ, the joy of Christ, the kindness of Christ, the long-suffering of Christ be with you in the midst of every person in your family that you wish it could be different. Till next time, friends, God bless you.